because we do not have an endless supply of petroleum. It just isn't out there, folks. Yes, our technologies to retrieve petroleum from the ground have become more and more technically advanced over the years, which is why we haven't run out as of yet. But eventually, the time is going to come. And when that time comes, everybody is going to be scrambling for an alternative source. And, I think hydrogen generation is going to be one of those sources. I think methanol and alcohol fuels are going to become another big part of it. All right. Where we go from there is anybody's guess. I mean, new technology comes along every day. Hopefully, we'll have another couple of geniuses who will take society down that primrose path and into the future. All right. Woodbeast asks, what does the flash update for your car change? What it does basically is it puts its tune-up on the engine. All right, it enables you to change engine timing in relation to camshaft position, rate in relation to throttle position, load on the engine, so on and so forth, so that you're getting the best performance from your engine, both power output wise and economically. All right, that's what these flash updates are about primarily. All right, they're there to correct errors and problems that the original programmers didn't see when they first programmed these vehicles, and it's there to get the vehicle to run in a better state. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. All right, King of Chuck. Tesla is sure forcing the major car companies to accelerate their electric car programs. Yeah, it is very interesting, what Elon Musk is doing, with the Tesla line, although his politics lately is killing him. He's getting himself in a lot of trouble. And, that bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers his stockholders as well. Bill, you may be kidding, but there's a lot of truth to that statement of using Western oil. And it does have a funny smell when you burn it. They burn it in biodiesels. All right, biodiesel engines can run on basically any waste cooking oil. And when they go down the road, they actually smell like French fries cooking because that's the smell of the byproduct as it comes out of the exhaust. It's kind of strange. I've witnessed a lot of it when I was driving tractor trailers out west. They're very big into their biodiesel out there. Willie Nelson is into it and all that. And, God bless Willie, man. He's, the ultimate Texan. And, he's still partying hardy after all these years. God bless him. So, yeah, it's interesting when you say Western oil because you can run Western oil. All right. You can run, like I said, any type of cooking oil through a biodiesel. Okay. Yeah, Italian cars use olive oil. I like that one, Woodbeast. Yeah, would that be extra virgin or? Hey, Biker Coyote, what's happening, brother? It's good to see you. All right. Yeah, it's good to be up and around, brother. It's good to be home. Okay, Stuart asks, Doug, how about those folks that put a jar of water under the hood plugged up to something to improve gas mileage? That was a big thing back in the, I guess late 60s, early 70s, about the time of the gas crunch. There were water injection systems for sale in the back of the car magazines that they claimed would help improve the, performance and the gas mileage that you got from your vehicle. And, I don't see him around much anymore, but I see people starting to talk more and more about him again. And that's only because gas prices are going up, and we're all looking for a way to conserve fuel. And the automotive manufacturers and the oil companies sure aren't going to help us in that department. Why cut into their profits? Not ever going to happen. Not ever going to happen. Not only in this country, but probably throughout the entire world. Uh, I can say that the basic, what I know of chemistry, and I'm not a chemist by any means, shape, or form, but what I know of chemistry, if there's some way that you can extract the hydrogen from the water and get it to burn with the fuel, I would imagine that it's going to serve as an oxidizer or of some sort, and it's going to help burn the fuel more efficiently, which in turn is going to produce more power and better gas mileage. It makes sense to me. All right, whether it works or not is a whole nother matter. Alrighty, let's see. King of Chuck says, we've been car shopping for my wife, and I'm trying to get her onto the Tesla dealership, but she's reluctant. She loves Fords. Listen, if I were you, I would try and get her onto the Toyota dealership, Chuck. I still say that the Toyota Camry is one of the best cars for your buck. They're well built, despite the issues. Every car manufacturer has issues, has recalls, and all that. But I think Toyota addresses theirs very well. They take care of their issues as best as they humanly can, and they build a good product to begin with. I know that when I'm going to look for my next vehicle, it's going to be on a Toyota lot. Okay, or definitely, I don't know necessarily a lot, but I'm going to be looking for a used Toyota. All right. I tend to believe in buying used because I don't like to pay up front on the front end, the depreciation of the vehicle. I'd rather take that in the back end. I better watch what I say here because I usually get it in the back end. It seems lately I have been anyway. Better boy, listen, I'm not going to, maybe I will get into it a little later, but, I'm not going to call him a POS or anything else for that matter. He does what he does. My eyes are wide open to it now. I don't agree with it, and I will have nothing more to do with him to support him. And I'm going to leave it at that for now. All right. Yes, I agree. He is a very lazy con man, and he should be ashamed of himself. As I've said in some of my other comments, I hope he has a great sense of pride, in all that he's accomplishing. And I say that very sarcastically. In a way, I feel very sorry for him. I think he's a... Be it, I'm coming clean because I'm guilty of having my blinders on and helping him, and I didn't see it when I was being taken advantage of. And I resent that at this point, that I was taken advantage of by him, that he still calls me a, quote, friend. He doesn't know what the meaning of the word friend is. He really doesn't. Friends to him are people that he can use for his own desires, and then when they're of no use to him anymore, he just discards them. And I hate to tell you, Carl, that's not what friends are. I have friends, Mike Smith says, that have water mixed with Epsom salt, current run through it from alternator, produces hydrogen, which feeds direct into air intake. Just assumes that, they will help him buy whatever the hell he needs. His next jaunt seems to be that he is looking for people to buy him a car. Damn, man, who the hell wouldn't want somebody to buy them a car? I know I could use somebody to buy me. I don't go on here begging, though. That's the difference, Carl. All right? If you care to donate to me, Listen, my GoFundMe page is published. My PayPal is published. Okay, I'm not going to go asking for donations. That's entirely up to you, folks. It's your money. As I said, you're adults. You decide what you want to do with it. You want to give it to Carl? Be my guest. Just, inform yourself as to the type of person he truly is. And trust when I say that he is nothing but a low-life scumbag. All right? He has swindled more people out of more money than, as I have recently found out, very recently found out, that, all of that bullshit he was feeding me about how he reimbursed everybody is just that. It's bullshit. He hasn't reimbursed his goddamn soul from what I can see. All right? And I have people that will confirm that they have not been reimbursed. All right? Ask some of those people that he swindled up in Alaska for livestock whether they've been reimbursed or not. What he's done is horrible. I mean, you're literally taking food from people's mouths. How can you live with yourself being that kind of person? When you ran your real estate office in Port Washington, Carl, what you don't know is that my sister was personal friends of Hank and Cynthia, who I referred to in some of my rants. And what you did to them as a family is disgusting. Hank was working for you as an employee. You were taking health insurance payments from him, all right, and supposedly using that money to pay his premiums for him and his family. Well, when his son took ill and needed hospitalization for something that was very serious, they came to find out that you never paid those insurance premiums and they had no insurance. Something else, I guess, you can live with yourself for. All right, because you don't have a conscience, sir. You don't have a conscience at all. And how you can live with yourself and sleep peacefully the way you do, it just disgusts me. And you're still doing the same shit, ripping people off. All right? The Brooks always had to be better than everybody else, according to you. Your father wasn't that way. I don't know where the hell you got it from. Your mother certainly wasn't that way. They were down-home folks that were farmers from Ohio originally, as you so like to point out. All right? Good salt of the earth people. I don't know where the hell you went wrong. But man, you got your chubby fingers on their dollars and you just blew through it like the San Francisco fires, man. You couldn't help yourself. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that money while you had it. I hope that hope it didn't cost you communications with your sisters, but I have a feeling it did. I have a feeling that that's why Marianne and Terry don't talk to you anymore. All right? You ran out on your kids out in Ohio and left Johanna to fend for herself with those kids. Larry raised him and you call him a vegetable. Larry was a hero to our country. He served in Vietnam and he battles with Agent Orange disease now. And you sit there, live in his home, break bread with him, and then have the nerve to call him a vegetable. You recall Johanna calling me up here at my home that night? She was in tears because of what you did. Shame on you. Shame on you, Carl. You're nothing but a big bully. You always have been, and you always will. No, I didn't end up out of pocket helping Carl out, Mike. I didn't donate a dime to him. Wait a second, I take that back. The only thing that Carl got from me was when he busted the fuel line hose. I bought him about 8 feet of fuel line hose and a couple of hose line clamps. Cost me, I don't know, $12. That's the only thing I'm out of pocket for helping Carl out. All that and my gas, I guess, and my time, because my time and my gas, do have value to me. So I am out that as well, I guess. All right, but that's all I'm out. Do the Japanese car makers in the USA union-based? Yes, they are, Woodbeast. Honda is at their... that. They also taught me the meaning of hard work and the value of it. I think mandatory backup cameras on all cars are a very, very good. Sitting in a cabin up in Alaska, getting ready to leave to head to Florida to get on a boat with Steve. And that's when I came back into the picture again. All right, and started talking to him via YouTube. I hadn't seen Carl in all those years until he arrived here on the Lily 2 in Port Washington Harbor. Whether his sister's got any money, I couldn't tell you. I tend to doubt it. Yeah, all of us, as far as I know, all the people I know, Mike, started out with little, and we worked hard and saved and accumulated, and that's, how we got ahead in life. I mean, that's how people do it. That's the way I was taught that you do it anyway. It's a shame that so many people feel that they're entitled to so much these days. And, we've all made bad choices at one point or another. We pick up and we move on. That's what being an adult is all about. Some people just don't know what an adult is, or how to make an honest living, it seems. Oh, don't be sorry, Beta. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's just that the truth is finally starting to come out. And I just feel that I owe it to you folks to tell you what type of person Carl truly is and how I feel about it at this point. And, I'm sorry, but this is my opinion, Carl. Too bad that you don't agree with it. You never do agree with anything other than what, you feel is right. And, I don't think that what you're doing is right. That's all there is to it. I don't feel that what you're doing is right. I don't think you're any better than a beggar on a street corner. At least they have a sign up that says they'll work for food. What will Carl work for? If you call, doing these live streams work, I think you're sadly mistaken. I'm any buffoon, myself included, am able to get on a live stream camera and conduct a live stream. There's no talent involved in that. The talent goes in getting content, putting it out there, editing it, and all that. And quite frankly, I haven't seen anything from you since you were on the canal. That's a long time ago, Carl. A very, very long time ago. All right, that was about the last decent content you put out. Beta Boy, thank you for that. I appreciate your comment. Beta Boy says one thing good from Carl is I found your channel and find it entertaining and educational. Listen, that's what I'm here to do. I'm hoping to help educate you guys in the areas of automotive repair and maintenance. That's what my field was, what my specialty is, what I went to school for, what I got certified in, yada, yada, yada. The list goes on because that's the way you do things in life. You develop an interest in something, you learn as much as you can about it, you go to school, you get an education, you get your certifications, and you go out there and you practice. All right? That's what it's supposed to be about. All right, Century says, I'm looking to buying a new Toyota Tacoma. What do you think about them? I think they're great. I think they're great vehicles. I think you should go ahead and go for it. Pop the cork. All right? Enjoy it. Yes, please, folks, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying this. You don't have to. I don't force anybody to do anything you don't want to do here. I'm easygoing. If you'd like to hit the thumbs up button, yes, I very much appreciate it. Yeah, Doug's pimping himself out. What are you worth, Doug? Well, my wife will tell you I'm not worth much these days. All right, too many medical issues. But, there are certain things that still do work. All right? Just keep that in mind, folks. It ain't over till it's over. All right? Oh, you're funny. Century at Beta Boy Elvis, yeah, I like the look of them. I don't like the square look that GMC Chevy is doing. No, I don't care for GMC Chevy. However, I will take a GMC Chevy over a Ford pickup these days. I don't like the aluminum frame and the aluminum bed on the Fords. Okay? A lot of people have had problems with them when it comes to hauling heavy loads. They're not the heavy-duty, work vehicles that we were once believed and knew that they were.
course, we couldn't stay away from wiki watching.
Do something cool.
Joyce also took us to the Hillsborough River, where we saw dozens of alligators.
Whoa. Hey, buddy.
We didn't see many alligators on this tour, but
I feel like I just want to sway side to side and sing him a lullaby.
this swamp tour was more like a ride at an amusement park, which is awesome. This swamp was fed by a natural spring, and believe it or not, you could drink out of it.
What inspires you to take in street people, as you call it? You know, so when Tony and Jared and I first met you, we were really scrubby. We looked like we hadn't showered in months.
Yeah. I had already heard a few words from Gina, and she had told me about what you were kind of on a quest to do. And of course, my husband and I have done many things like that and hitchhiked a lot of countries rather than wait for a bus. We just put our thumb out and been picked out by people from Mercedes to junk cars, you know, in the back of a pickup, in fact, in Australia with a bunch of Aborigines. So I figure if they have the nerve, and when I see people, I'd heard about you guys, and it sounded exciting to me. It sounded like what I would like to do. Maybe a lot of other people, too. So I was interested to hear about it, and I had an empty guest house.
You mentioned you've hitchhiked all over.
Yes, my husband and I, he used to hear these tales at USF of kids hitchhiking through Europe. So our first trip to Europe, we hitchhiked from Amsterdam to Zurich, Switzerland. We had our backpacks sent because we were going to be mountain climbing from it in Switzerland. And luckily...
So your husband was a professor, a coach?
Yeah. He was a coach, and then he was the athletic trainer at University of South Florida.
And he overheard kids talking about
all the time,
how they do this,
yeah.
and he decided to go for it with you.
Exactly.
For us, you changed the course of our lives. It could have went any other way, but meeting you, having a place to stay, made things a lot easier for us. And we
yes, but I like to think that you were going to finish your mission anyway. It might have been a little harder because you did have a little air-conditioned place to come to once in a while to cool off while you were working all that time on the sailboat.
You think it would have all worked out?
I think it would have. I mean, I think somehow when you go somewhere and I think you would have seen it through somehow.
Okay.
But I like to think I was a help, and I like to think I was part of it because my spirit is with you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about your sailing experiences. You've had a couple.
Oh, yeah, because, I was to Cuba before you, and I was on a huge luxury sailboat. And I was sick all the way to Cuba. And I was upset because I've been on sailboats, and I've had a sailboat, a little one, on my own lake and gone up and down by myself and windsurfers. So I felt kind of accomplished till it took off. And before we went under the Sunshine Skyway, luckily, I never threw up, but for 3 days I laid in bed and wished I just was on land.
Tell us about the owner and how the trip started.
Quite elderly. He had bought it brand new. Somebody else had motored up with it, not using the sails or anything, and brought it to a marina in St. Petersburg where he'd been sitting on it, I think, for a few months and enjoying the
marina?
The marina life. Mm-hmm. Sitting on the back of his boat and being part of it.
Yeah, it's a very different life.
And I understand later, I did a few boats. I'm a decorator, and I realized some people really don't go far in them.
Some people never leave the docks.
That's what I
And it's a lot easier. It's
before
pretty nice
we got under the Sunshine Skyway, we had gone in a sandbar, and then they worried about the bottom of the boat, and somebody went under it and checked it. And then the first time they pulled the big sail up, it was all tangled. But luckily we had 2 other gentlemen that were very accomplished sailors. And then I think we did well. Out of 12 boats, it was kind of a race. And so out of 12 sailboats, sailing ships I should say, we were second. because the wind was, I thought we were going to die, you know, but I wasn't used to waves that big. I've just only been on big boats in Europe where they take cars and trains and everything. So, oh my God, every time we went over a wave, I thought, okay, we won't come up, you know. So it was exciting. It was almost a 50-foot sailing boat. I mean, the kitchen was nicer than mine. I would say it was very luxurious. So we meet this man and lady. They had just come from the Seychelles Islands, and they had really a luxury sailboat. And they said, well, if you don't have to. Maybe when we got to Nova Scotia, over to Halifax, and these people kind of gave us a ride up a hill, and then we thought, well, what the heck, you know. I think that was our first hitchhiking, was through Nova Scotia and up the Cabot Trail, and it was fun.
We're here in St. Petersburg, Ozona Shores Marina, to meet Captain Rusty. Some of you may be wondering how the bums learned to sail, and for us, it was all about networking.
The boat we'll be sailing on today is a Corsair 24. My first time with Rusty and on his boat.
The outrigger holes on this boat can fold up to give you a monohull, or fold down, and now it's a trimaran. His mainsail is wrapped around his boom. Rusty's going to tell us a little bit about this electric outboard that gets him in and out of harbors.
It's the 1003 by Torquedo, and it is incredible. The batteries float. They're totally waterproof. The entire unit is waterproof, and you don't want to test it a lot, but it's proven to be much better than their earlier versions. And the system for a relatively small boat like this Corsair 24 works out really well. And because we're sailors, all we do is work in and out of a marina and need some source. It's not an inexpensive unit. For example, batteries new, if you're getting a new one, are $695 a piece, and you know we've got a couple of them because you don't get a lot of time. You get at a moderate speed, you're getting about 30 minutes of drive time. Now they have all sorts of assemblies, such if you want to have a charger unit, such as solar. They have those kinds of things. I have no idea how quick they are in recharging. And just a battery takes about 18 hours on 110 voltage to charge. So it's not the sort of thing that if you're needing a lot of source power that you're going to get it there. They also make battery packs that will sit, you know, in an area outside in your hull, and those things, I don't know, you can get a fair amount of power off those for an extended run, and then you're not using this battery.
And what would that unit run you about, brand new?
I suspect you're talking $2,500 for a whole unit with one battery. My guess, it's easy to check. It's Torquedo.
No hard feelings, Rusty, but I heard after we left, you guys talked about who might be dropping off the sailing, who might be the weak link, and I was the one that you decided on.
Yeah.
I was hoping you could maybe give us some of your thoughts, like, you know, what was your thinking there? Because I'm sure you actually had some good points. Why was I the weak link of the three?
I think my general sense was that I didn't think you were quite as on board about this whole thing. And then with your experience of getting sick in your passage to Cuba, that really weakened that. that commitment to sailing and so on is playing into it.
As is the custom, we sailed to Three Rutgers Island, and Rusty left his main up while we were at anchor.
The tribe, what we do is we are releasing the one line, and this line then takes the board down for the centerboard. And I just want a little centerboard right now. I actually can go down to about a depth of 5.5 feet with the boat, or with it all the way up, it's about 14 inches, 12 inches of draft. Let that sail flop, because we don't want it to lock up at all right now.
The stars glow bright, the summer's old. In the misty bright moonlight I were told. When the storm is...
Welcome to Sailing Magic Carpet. In this episode, we show you a day in the life of Mediterranean cruising on board our 28-foot Vinda. Right now we are exploring Menorca, an island which is part of the Balearics of Spain. It's Ibiza's quiet and beautiful cousin. Although they are in the same group of islands, Menorca's laid-back style of life and quiet anchorages differentiates it from the throbbing nightclubs of Ibiza. Here it is sailor's paradise. Let us show you. So it's just before 8 a.m. in the morning and we are heading out of Mahon. We left the dock early in Mahon, the capital of Menorca. The harbor there is gorgeous, lined with houses clinging to steep cliffs and palm trees providing shade. At the time that we were there was also a classic boat regatta happening, so there were some pretty spectacular boats at the quay. We motored out of the huge natural harbor, and then, once we were on the sea, we opened the Genoa and began to sail. That moment when you turn off the engine and the world goes quiet, your boat moved forward by silent sails, that's a beautiful moment.
The hills they seem all green, but they hide all the monsters. And you kept holding my hand as you reached for water. The hills by the lake, you were chasing your dream. And I gave you a rose that you kept on seeing, kept on seeing. It was worth the
So once you get out on the sea, things often start moving a bit. So we always make sure the boat is neat and tidy before we put the sails up. You can see our stove over here is actually on a gimbal. So as the waves roll, the stove rolls with it. And this is fantastic because it means that things don't fall off the stove as easily. That's pretty much a must for a sailboat. If you're going to do any sailing, live aboard sailing, you need a gimbaled stove. One set in position isn't going to work. You'll never be able to cook. Yeah, so a lot of things in the boat are set up to handle moving around all the time. All of the shelves have little bars across them so things don't fly out. This hammock is really nice because it also kind of moves with the waves a bit. So we put all our fruits and veggies in there. This is our chart table, so in here we just have documents and papers and stuff like that. Over here, our tiny little galley, so my sink. Here's our fridge, which is actually really exciting. We just got it working. Aladino just fixed it. It had been broken all summer. But now we finally have a fridge, which is going to change things a lot for us. And we also have these pot holders, which you can slide along the rail here to keep your pots in place. This is kind of messy at the moment because when we get going sailing, we kind of throw everything in here because it's just a nice compartment, but this is a bunch of food and just condiments that we use regularly. Our table folds up so we can make it into a full table if we want to. Fruits and veggies. And in all of these compartments is just more storage. So here's kind of all our plates and stuff. Now this is a cool feature. This lifts up and, oh, the sheet's not tucked in, but it turns into a bed. So when we have guests come and stay, then they can sleep here. And underneath all of these benches, called berths on a boat, but underneath all of them are more storage compartments. So we keep all of our canned food, packaged food, etc. in there. We also actually keep some canned food in the bilge. Well, there's just a little bit of it. Over here we have some more cans. It's actually a really good idea, as much as possible, to concentrate weight in the bottom of your boat rather than on the sides. So if you can put heavier things like cans, if you can put them lower down in the bilge, that's going to increase your sailing performance and even make for a safer vessel. So we do that as much as possible. Even underneath the benches, the weight storage is still pretty low in the boat. And up here, apart from the books, I mean, books are kind of the only heavier thing that we keep up higher. So moving forward, we have our bed up here. This is where Aladino and I sleep. It's quite cozy, actually. It fits the both of us really nicely. There's lots of room. And then, if we turn around, this is kind of a tight maneuvering, but in here is the bathroom. Super teeny tiny. There's the toilet. And then the sink actually slides away when you don't need it. So it is a very small space, but it's a very functional space as well. I mean, I was able to take all of my belongings on board. I didn't really have to leave much behind. Things just kind of hide away in all of the storage compartments, which are hidden throughout the entire boat. And at the end, you're left with, yeah, something that doesn't look like there's that much stuff hidden away, but in fact there's tons behind all of these settees. Behind here, there's more storage, so it's very well designed. And a lot of boats are. I mean, boats are generally very intelligently designed to maximize use of space. I think it's really cool seeing how well space can be used if you really plan out every square inch of it, which is what they've done, and what Aladino did as well when he rebuilt the boat. He did a few changes to maximize even more space. The cliffs had many caves carved into them, so we took the boat closer to have a look.
When the stars glow bright, the summer's old. In the misty bright moonlight I were told, when the storm is raging in your head, when you feel there's nothing more ahead.
I just made some lunch, some chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Look at this.
Just after we ate lunch, we noticed a bay which looked quite promising. We decided to alter course and go check it out. We are arriving in paradise, and as soon as the boat slows down and stops moving, I'm going to drop the anchor. This is an incredible spot. Check this. It turns out that the bay was perfect for anchoring. We let down our anchor in crystal clear turquoise water. As soon as the boat was secure, we jumped in the water and went snorkeling. As the sun began to turn gold, we hopped in the dinghy to go explore the land. We found a trail winding through the steep cliffs and valleys, which we followed for a little while. After a short walk, we decided to turn around and explore some of the cliffs surrounding the beach. Some sweeping footage of this whole area. Yeah, that's epic. The sun slowly set, and we returned to our floating home. We just got back to the boat after a little excursion on land, and it almost feels like home returning to the boat. I mean, it is our home. Everything that I own is on board this boat, so. And it's a beautiful home. The sun is just setting. We're all alone in this anchorage, which is such a treat. I love it when that happens. Although the cruising community are some of the best people I've ever met. We spent the last week in an anchorage with a bunch of other cruisers from all over the world, and we made lifelong friends. I mean, it was amazing. But every now and then, the point of a sailboat is to move and to find different sceneries and different communities as you go. So sometimes it's nice to have that isolated bit of paradise, and that's what we found right here. It's pretty special.